Am I sharing my screen?
It's great
Or
to
not?
and welcome. Welcome back once again. This is Emunah Yisrael Solonomics 101. This is a special report, everybody. This is on my main channel, and this is a special report. We're going to do a series of these reports, community conversations. So definitely, if you missed this first one live, you are welcome to let us know that you want to participate in the ongoing ones, and we'll open up the floor for you to be able to do that as long as we keep it clean and respectable. At this time, we're going to talk about relationships, which seems to be plaguing a lot of people within the community, within and outside of the community. But this one in particular is something that kind of blew over in social media for me this last week because I'm Johnny come lately. So basically, we have on a panel Sister Mayana as brother Amatia, and we're going to speak about a book that has made its way into mainstream media, social media, called Man Leads, Women Follow, Everyone Wins. And at first glance, you see a lot of masculine testosterone energy, you know, you know, excited about this conversation. So we're going to take a look at it and we're going to piece by piece see whether or not it's something viable. Does it have some good talking points? Or is something that we should be really concerned about? So again, hopefully we'll be fair, sorry, in our analysis. So definitely we're going to keep it clean, we're going to keep it above board, and we're going to go into this. So, but before we do, let me introduce Brother Amatia and then Sister Mayana. Tell them a little bit about yourself, and then I'm going to go ahead and read the quote that we're going to address today.
All right. Well, once again, my name is Amathia. Hello, everybody. Uh, I guess I'm just somebody who Sister Mayana had called to participate in this call, and whenever she calls, I definitely have to come running because well, she called, so it's just that simple. So I have heard a tad bit about what's going on and a little bit about the writings that this particular individual has been teaching, and I'm definitely honored to basically address it and to give a masculine energy point of view or male perspective on it, and hopefully, just like the sister said, we can be as impartial as possible, representing truth and righteousness fairly, and let's see where we can take it.
Whew. Thank you for that, Brother Matia. The baby had me on a baby alarm. So definitely thank you. We're glad that the masculine energy has joined us because the conversation is about man leads. So thank you, Brother Matia. We're going to come to Sister Mayana, and then I'm going to read one of the many things that we're going to discuss in the conversation, but this is one of the forefront. So I'm going to read it in a second. But Sister Mayana, please introduce yourself.
Oh, shalom, everybody. This is Mayana Hassofaret. Um, Actually, I was one of the people that saw this conversation begin back in 2015. And so back then, again, it wasn't something that had taken much steam, and it wasn't something that was really influencing the women at that time because we were in a different space, I suppose, in our own feminine awareness. From a Hebraic perspective, it was still pretty strong, and I guess there's been a kind of breakdown in in the confidence of that movement. Our Hebraic femininity has lost its confidence, so these outside sources are presenting something new, and the curious mind is investigating it. So we have to discuss it, like this is said, see if there's anything that is viable in it, if there's anything that has merit, anything that we can take away from it, or if it's something that is truly posing a threat and a detriment to the movement that we've already established as Hebrew women.
All right, thank you for that, Sister Mayana. For those who are on my regular channel, this is Emunah Yisrael. You already know. We will be continuing on with the Lev Project. Not Monday. Monday I have a show Tuesday, so feel free to tune in. But right now we're talking about relationships, healthy man and feminine woman. So at this point, I'm going to read a quote from the book. The quote is in the box. If anybody has any questions about it, hold on. Let me pull this quote up real quick, and then we're going to go ahead and read the quote. And again, investigation is a very important thing. Our surface, our emotions want to let us feel like, yes, this sounds good. You know what I'm saying? Depending on what emotion we want to feed. But when we closely investigate not only what something is saying And greetings, Sister Judith, Big Girl, and Tish. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the conversation. So once we get beyond emotional reaction to any information, whether it's pro or con, what it is that we're trying to do, we have to look at the long stemming effects of it. So the quote says here, healthy men can, capital, only be with feminine women, but too many Black women are hard. This leaves them surrounded by abusers, users, and feminine men who talk too much. Our good men are being forced to emotionally or physically leave us behind just because we've lost our feminine nurturing. I'll read that again, because this is what we're going to be talking about. Healthy men can only be with feminine women, but too many Black women are hard. This leaves them surrounded by abusers, users, and feminine men who talk too much. Our good men are being forced to emotionally or physically leave us behind just because we've lost our feminine nurturing. Whoever's blowing me up on the Facebook, I'm going to have to close Facebook. Brother Amatia, at this time, let us know your thoughts on what you just heard as it relates to healthy men only being able to be with feminine women, and then the conversation of Black women being too hard. And this is why Black women are losing out on good men. Brother Amatia, the mic is yours.
Well, thank you. I particularly found it interesting how she defined healthy and how she also defined the women that were hard. And found it really interesting because she's saying that basically these men who are with these women who are hard basically will switch places with them and be the soft one in the relationships. But then she also, in my hearing, it sounds to me like she's also saying that these women are the ones who would be abused, though. So in other words, they are the one who are supposed to be the masculine role in this unhealthy relationship, and they're, I guess, supposedly on top. Yet somehow that accounts to the woman being abused if she's not, I guess, subservient to the man. Her definitions of healthy, her definitions of what it means for a woman to be feminine, I find to be quite interesting. I did see or read more of the quote, but seeing as how that's the only thing that you read online so far, I guess that would be, that's as much as I can comment right now without going into parts of the course that you did not read yet, to give the, so that others can have a fair understanding of what I would like to say further about what she wrote.
Okay. The quote that I found it was a segment of a quote that I saw posted up. I come to find out as I'm reading this book that a lot of the sayings are written in a quotable way. But of course, as you're saying, for full understanding, one has to read, I guess, within the context. But the way it's being parceled out to the people is in this form. It's in a form that gives you leaves a question in the mind. Before I go to Sister Mayan, I would like to ask the latter part of the first question. Are you in agreement? Are too many Black women hard? Have they lost their femininity or their feminine nurturing? What are your thoughts on that? Because people are going to be like, come on, man, y'all playing games. Like, is it true? Is it not true? Is this an issue that men have as it relates to Black women?
No, I don't think so. I wouldn't say that Black women specifically has lost their femininity. No. I wouldn't put anything on, I wouldn't question the femininity of Black women more than I would the masculinity of Black men. I think they go hand in hand in the sense of, if one has to be questioned, not saying that it should be questioned, but if one is going to question the femininity of Black women, then it's also fair to question the masculinity of Black men. Seeing how the masculinity of Black men is seldomly under attack as the femininity of Black women, I would say no. I would say that I would definitely not say that black women has lost their femininity. I would say that black women, as I see them, actually define femininity. I think black women are the most sensitive. They are the most feminine type of women that there are. They're the mother of humanity, so they exude femininity all around. I think it's also an example of how black women are always under attack unfairly. That's not to say that most, or not most, but some criticisms that can be levied against black women don't have some merit. That is to say, it is to say that because these things are so, that does not necessarily mean that black women are not feminine. It just simply means that black men needs to step up to the plate to be more in line with these black women so that they can basically fulfill their true potential. Not just them, but also black men as a whole.
Brother Matia, they might be coming for you.
It's okay. Let them come.
They might come for you, brother Matia. What you saying?
Let them come, because the fact of the matter is this, right? You know, a lot of times, I'm sure sisters will hear that black women are X, Y, Z, ABC, 1, 2, 3. A lot of allegations and slander will be levied against black women as a whole. I think it's fair to say that a lot of those things are untrue and are not put within their proper context. As you said, things have to be put in their proper context, correct?
Correct.
But for the sake of argument, let's say everything that is normally levied against black women is true. For the sake of argument, let's say black women don't know how to be feminine. Let's say black women don't know how to be soft. Let's say black women don't know how to do whatever the allegation that you want to throw against black women. For the sake of conversation, let's say that's true. Number one, if that is true, that's only a reflection on the fail of leadership when it comes to black men. Right? I'm just saying. Let's say it's true, right? I don't believe that it's true. Let me be abundantly clear. Let me be lucid in what I'm saying. I don't believe that it is, but let's say for the sake of argument, let's say that it's true. That only is a reflection of how we as black men have failed to lead black women. That's number one. Number two, even if it is true, that in no way, shape, fashion, or form alleviates black men of their divine or ethical responsibility that we have towards black women. Which means even with all your failures, if we're, for the sake of conversation, saying that all these things are true, even with all the failures of black women, it's up to black men to shoulder that along with the black women so that they can become better, so that they in turn can push us to become better. So whatever the infirmities or whatever allegations that you want to launch against black women, at the end of the day, it means nothing, because that doesn't mean or give us the right or the privilege to leave black women in the dust.
Actually, in the latter portion of our good men are being forced. So you're saying you don't agree with this notion that men are being forced to emotionally or physically leave melanated women behind? Is that what I'm hearing you saying? Based on the scenario that you're given, even if that was the case, this is a reflection of the man, and being it so, he should not now say, this is my get out of jail free card to go either look for a Dominican or a Japanese woman. Is that what you're saying?
No, what I'm saying, well, correct. I'm saying you cannot technically force a black man to do anything. It's like you could put a gun to his head and make him date somebody outside the race.
Right.
So what I'm simply saying to you is, let's say all the things that men normally levy against black women, I don't believe that they're true, but let's say for the sake of argument, that's true. That in no way alleviates us of our responsibility as men to get down in the mire with our black women, to lift them up, and to present ourselves as suitable people and men that we can follow to inspire them so that they are not the way that we at times presume them to be. Now, this is with the assumption that the allegations are predominantly true. Of course, I don't believe that. So due to the fact that they're actually not true, that only puts the burden on us more for us to say, yo, you know what? If this black woman is finding it hard to be feminine, before I levy insults against her, let me first check my walk and my stance and my posture to make sure that I'm being the black man in which she can follow and respect and be with. And if I do self-evaluation properly, and I check the boxes, and I come back as, I come back decent. None of us are perfect, but I come back decent, then I can go to her and say, well, listen, this is the problem that we're having, and then I can address her problems. And when I address her problems, I make sure, or I try my best to carry it over in a sense of not using my words or me being right as a weapon against her, but as a tool, basically to push her to make it better. Because the fact of the matter is, she's the other half of you. She's your mother, she's your sister, she's your daughter, she's your aunt, she's your godmother. So you basically cannot leave her behind. And you can't leave her behind. And I don't see why you would want to, because when I look at black women compared to other women of other ethnicities, not to knock them, I'm not trying to knock women of other ethnicities. I'm just simply saying that the reason why black women sometimes can give black men so much of a hard time is because, in my personal opinion, black women have the most potential. All right. So what it is that potential, is not being aimed correctly. It's not being nurtured. It's not being fostered in a way in which they can take that energy that they use to sometimes give men problems, and build
them up.
Right, exactly. It's not. They're not giving an avenue or a channel, or even they're not being provoked in the right way to say, well, you know what? It's okay to be soft. It's okay to be feminine. Because I know that once I give you the avenue in which you can be truly you can explore your femininity, you can explore your womanhood, especially with other sisters and women who are older than you, knowing that I'm right there with you as a man, as the masculine principle, as your other half. You can be you. It's okay. So once I show her, or once we show them that the masculine side is covered and they don't have to worry about that, then that alleviates them of the need to want to play both roles.
All right.
She's free to be her feminine self.
With that,
likewise, that allows the men freedom to be his masculine self. Now we can come together as two halves and make a perfect whole. But this is something that is I'm not going to predominantly, but that can best be done, in my opinion, with a black woman, because the black woman, she can better relate to you, to your struggles, to what it is to be a black person in this world. She can better soothe you. She can be better fitted for you. She's, within black women, you can find every kind of type that you may like in women. So basically, if you're a brother who likes light skin, you can find that in black women. If you're a brother who likes dark skin, again, black women. I've seen black women with natural blue eyes, brown eyes, hazel eyes, all spectrum of the rainbow. All these things, all this beauty, all this power and raw energy is found within black women. So why would I not
going in? He going in. We don't want to leave Mayana out there, brother Amati. You going so far in. I'm like, man, we gonna go straight into 30 minutes. You just dropping it all the way hot. At this point, I'm gonna bring Mayana into the conversation because she's sitting in the cut. And let's add her in and hear what she has to say, and then we'll pick up. Just stick a pin right there, because you were saying some real good stuff. Stick a pin right there, and we're gonna come right back to you, Sister Mayana. Your thoughts on the quote and what Brother Amatia said. You know, he took it to another space.
Well, I think that Amathia kind of gave us a really good exercise in seeing if we could put some of Miss Cutno's suggestions to work. Because for several moments there, I wanted to tell Amathia, you know, we're kind of wrapped for time, but Miss Cutno would definitely tell us we're not allowed to do that, because it probably would be perceived as belittling or something else, which is probably why I was doing so much laughing. I was just kind of laughing at the application there. But again, like you said, Amaki made a lot of really good points, and in listening to him get to some of those points, it was interesting because a lot of really good things came out of it. There was the assertion that it's not only on the onus isn't only on the female, that if there is a sort of disharmony, if there's something that is not being received the way they would like to receive it, that there is something to be said for the part they are complicit in that activity. I think that what was interesting was the notion that femininity had something to do with whether or not that our femininity is being placed on the same level or somehow in a causative relationship with whether or not the men are receiving whatever. Okay, so if a woman is responding, or how she's responding to something that doesn't deplete her femininity or doesn't define her femininity, with femininity is the property of femaleness. So what is feminine and what is appropriate and what is responsive and what is happening, those things have a sort of intersectionality that is being reduced to, you know, it's not as complicated as you think it is. But the fact is that there are many factors that are involved in the responses of women. And Amathia is touching on a lot of it, or an important part of it, that a lot of what the women are doing is responsive. A lot of how the women are presenting themselves is responsive. If women are taking particular roles, it's because those roles are vacant, not because this is what they want to do. And that if men were in those vacancies or filling those spots, then women would not be in them. And that, you know, there's an assumption that women just want to be difficult, or that women enjoy being difficult, or somehow some of the choices they are making because they are attempting to be masculine instead of they're attempting to fill voids. It is not, there's the issue of necessity in some of these cases. And that it's not that when women are gifted the opportunity to sit down, they refuse because they really just like to have this type of, you know, whirlwind chaos about them. And I think that taking some introspection and doing a self-audit on the part of the men to say, well, this woman that I want to follow me, did I give her any indication that I'm going somewhere? This woman that I want to lead, did I give her any assurances that she can be vulnerable to me? This woman that I don't want to do anything, did I tell her that I'm going to provide stability for her? I mean, these things are causative. I like the fact that he said that there's a reflection, or there's this mirror effect, because, you know, that kind of goes back to our Torah. I like everything that goes back to our Torah. And this idea that the woman is supposed to reflect back to the men their divine purposes, and to be part of the conversation with them, that's Torah. That's all Torah. We have these insights from our Hebrew handbook that's, you know, how many centuries old. We know what to do. The problem is not knowing what to do. The problem is having the commitment to do it. And so do we decide that, you know, we want the shortcut, we want the microwave version, we want to do the drive-through, or do we want to put in the work? And in terms of this, to go back to the topic, to go back to what we're interrogating, the statement that, like you said, was kind of parceled out there as the excerpt, that's all, even though it's only 3 sentences, it received over 427 likes and 302 shares in a matter of hours, in a matter of a day or so. And it's just those 3 sentences without the rest of the book. That's what people were responding to. We have comments such as, it's women like you. I'll tell you right now what it says. It's women like you that keeps me balanced. Where's the balance? There's no balance. It's all the woman's fault. But it keeps him balanced. He feels balanced by not having to take any responsibility. This is the comment of one of the first responders. So the fact that the issue of health, this idea of presumed health of the man, the fact that the men, in her second sentence, it says the feminine men who talk too much. So being articulate, using your words, these things are immediately categorized as feminine in her estimation. She says Black women are hard, which is, so then feminine means soft. So if you speak well, or you speak, apparently you can over communicate, then you're a feminine, then you are feminine. And you are by extension soft and all these other things. And that men, like you said, you pointed out that men are being forced. The idea that men are forced, they have no choice, all the agency has been ripped from them and they must abandon us. They've already, without considering that perhaps it's because the women have already been abandoned, that they are in this survival mode. And instead of abandoning us, returning to us so that we can have balance, that would be balance. We're already by ourselves. Nobody who has their other half is running around feeling like, oh, well, I have a great man. I still feel like I want to do things. It's the women who are by themselves. The women that are responding to her book are not married women.
Wow.
These are women who are looking for a mate. These are not women who feel balanced. These are women who feel abandoned. She's not speaking to married women. She's speaking to the women who already feel abandoned, telling them that they're being abandoned because it's their fault. I don't understand. For me, I'm having difficulty understanding that kind of, accepting that kind of, it's all your fault as a solution. So, I mean, I think that we should go ahead and get to how she defines a healthy man, since the healthy man is who we're looking for. So I think we should go ahead and look into that.
Before we get there, I didn't know we're going to be doing this as an ongoing conversation. And so if you would like to join us on the other side of the conversation, I said 30 minutes to Mayana before we started, and we're almost to 30 minutes already. I'm not used to such a small time frame, but I kind of wanted to keep it short and engaging and hit the point. We do have a lot of comments here. If I could quickly, we're going to come back at another time to speak about, like someone just asked here, where is it now? I'll start at the beginning. Mimi says, I know many families, mine included, where the woman leaves their husbands. Thank you, Mimi, for being very transparent and honest. We'll come back at another time and talk about that. Look like we're going to have to set up an extra relationship challenge up in here. B Girl says, I can agree with you. I see a lot that goes on within each other. Mimi says, yes, and unfortunately, in some of our culture, it is quite common for women to brag about being in charge and tend to feed each other's feelings to be combative. So that speaks to what the author was saying as it relates to forcing men because of a certain mentality. So it says it is extreme mistrust and control issues, something to speak about. And this is the causative actions that Mayana was alluding to, or actually speaking directly to just a minute ago, and as well as Amatia, that this is a reflection of something else. And actually it's a reflection of the man, not necessarily in the space that he should be in. Queena says, yes, and how do we define femininity and masculinity? Which will definitely be another show, probably our next show, that we're going to speak about defining femininity and masculinity. B Girl says, I myself was told that because I'm so passionate in how I feel, and how I feel about wanting better for my children or my partner, that I come off hard. And lastly, Shalion says, wherever there is a hole, something will come and fill it. And so that's as it relates to what we're talking about, what everyone is echoing in different ways, the same sentiment of the quote that was given by the author. And as you said, it shares a number of times on social media. And when people are piecemealing this message, it creates more of an imbalance as it does balance. Because personally, when you see healthy man juxtaposed to feminine woman, my first question was, why isn't a healthy man juxtaposed to a feminine or a healthy woman? Because you can be, quote, feminine with these attributes and not be healthy. And so someone who's always speaking about healing, that was the first alarm for me before I got to a generalization of Black women are too hard without the context of, like Amatia spoke about, what is creating this hardness. If this is not a natural characteristic, then what is creating this hardness? And would I be responsible in just putting out Black women are too hard without going into what it is? And again, that's what Mayan is talking about, a level of blaming. But I want to come back around. We're going to extend the time a little bit. If you guys out there, you want us to expand the time, let us know, because we about to be over our 30 minutes. So we'll extend the time for a little 15 more minutes and come back around. And it went quick, huh, Mayana? We used to like 3 hours. We're going to come back to Brother Amatia. The things that you've heard so far from Mayana, myself, as well as the listening audience, tell us what you think and continue to expound on what you were saying earlier. And then after that, we're going to come to Sister Mayana.
Yeah, I think she definitely hit it on the head. Sister Mayana most definitely hit it on the head. And so did you and your critique as far as what the woman said. I'm just afraid that a lot of men who gave that one little snippet really positive reviews are or will basically be afraid to do some self-reflection, to do some self-reflection and pretty much say, you know what, maybe it's unfair that Black women shoulder all the blame. I think it's unfair that Black women shoulder the majority of the blame. You've been going back to, like I said, even if, not that it's true, but even if the majority of things that I said against Black women are true, because, you know, Black men can't only want to lead in good times when it's sunny outside, but also when there's a problem in the relationship. So if we're going to have a strong community and be able to build a strong nation, at the end of the day, we can't do it without women. That's just not possible, you know. And I don't see any other type of women who best to do it with than Black women. And to say that Black women are not in touch with their femininity, and to see so much men liking the comments, to me, I find it highly disturbing. You know, I find it highly disturbing. So I'll leave the rest of my honor so she can seek her peace.
Thank you so much, Brother Amatia. Hopefully you come back with us. We're trying to keep it short so we don't eat up too much time. But we like the masculine energy and the conversation as you bring balance to this conversation. And so definitely thank you for coming back again and echoing those thoughts and just really, you know, championing the cause of that balance, that the melanated woman and the melanated man complement each other. You understand what I'm saying? They are made for one another, just as so, you know, the Chinese man and the Chinese woman, the Japanese man, you know, we are a culture that says, oh, see, you're giving me reason to go get somebody else and then just totally dispose of you, you know. And so this definitely, as you said, it is a concern because you can see it across social media, YouTube, and all of these things. This is the excuse that is being used to dismiss, like you said, your mother, your aunt, your grandmother. So you've given up on a whole, not just the woman who you're looking at, you're giving up on all of these parts to cleave onto a culture that you don't necessarily relate to. That new grandmother that you're gonna see, you don't know what that is. That's in the pot. You know what I'm saying? That new aunt, you give it up to go into a totally alien and foreign space, just to justify the fact that you don't necessarily want to do the work. So I'm glad that you pulled out the fact that this statement is a bit off balance. Sister Mayana, your closing thoughts on this conversation?
Just to round off the thought, one of the things that I want to make sure that I do say is that this is not to say that there are no problems with the melanated woman, with the Black woman, because it would be very hard for a woman to, or for a person to go through all of the things that we have gone through historically and to
Right.
have emerged unscathed. I mean, absolutely, the Black woman has a lot of things that she needs to work on, and that's not this. It's not the all of the criticisms are not, unfounded. Some of the things that we're doing are necessarily, the reaction of our environment. It's a response to the things that we have to endure, we are seeing, or we are struggling with. It's unrealistic for a broken people to be running around, singing with blue jays in the middle of adversity. It's understandable for a broken person to have certain reactions, but if the Black man is going to say that he is going to occupy the savior role and the rescue role, and then also say he's going to leave and abandon, then that doesn't make any sense. That's not going to work. If we went through these things together. You need our help, we need your help. We need to build our families. None of us we're not procreating alone. Neither one of us can procreate alone. And the idea that you are going to go to the other nations to find partners, well, like you said earlier, am I ringing? Who's ringing? Are you ringing?
Hold on one second. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So the idea that we're going to turn outside of our community to get any type of relief, that's kind of self-defeating. It's counterintuitive to the concept of nation building.
Mm.
We're not building our nation if we are outsourcing everything. We're not doing that. So to very quickly speak to your point, and as Amathia said, the women from these other nations are not deficient in their womanhood, so we're not making that point at all. Instead, what we are saying is that in order for us to build Black families and have these kind of things, that we need to be with our people in order to create those types of environments. And like you said, in terms of bringing in the stranger, we are introducing something that is foreign to our culture, and that those people are not reproducing our culture, and the mindset that says I love this person and they make me happy, and it's okay that they're from a different background. That's very individualistic. And we're not talking about she pleases me well attitude. We're talking about whether or not this is what's going to be beneficial to the nation. But the problem is we are not thinking nationally, we're thinking individually. We're not being collectivistic, we're being individualistic. And that's just, that's the state of the union.
Ooh, this is, hold on now. It's popping in online, it's popping on the chat box. Who knew? Who knew? We are going to come back. This is the first episode installment. Let us know if you like it. We might have to extend the time a little bit because we got a lot of stuff being said here. As we wind down, we're probably going to have to take notes and make these some of the talking points as we come back, because they definitely collaborate with some of the things that are being propagated within this book here. Man leads, woman follows. What is it? Everyone wins. So I'll read some of the comments here. I know definitely we're going to have to come back because femininity is one of the things that she champions within the text. And as I think it was someone asked, well, to define femininity, actually, as Queen Taylor asked to define femininity. So we're going to have to take a look as we are reviewing this particular piece of literature, if I could say that. We're going to look at what she defines as femininity, and then look at femininity from a worldview, and then we're going to have to do the same thing with masculinity so that we could kind of be on the same page. Because again, there was one of the things that was shared that femininity is wear pink, wear pearls, and lace.
Right.
So, again, very interesting stuff. I'll go on to say, Judith says, myself was exposed to balance between the woman and the man. Tish says, keep going. B girl says, but even in slavery, wasn't Black women hard? And you guys know I'll start talking and we'll go all the way into the night if I pick that one up. But I'm going to definitely speak about this hardness. We might have to do a part 2 on this one particularly, that this hardness that she's referencing, as we are saying here, cannot be referenced out of context. And Amathia did a great job to express the masculine point of view in this situation, that you have to put that in context. And this is what I don't think is being done here. It is, as Mayana says, a place to point the blame without explaining why and how she got in this way. Judith says, in the family, which is a factor, I think our strength comes off as hardness or an unwillingness to submit when that's not it at all.
Right.
And then Judith says, yes, we are. But are those different issues, two different issues, Mimi says. And I think they're all interconnected. But if we go off on one rabbit hole, we won't be back for some time. So we're going to see strength versus submission, Sister Mayana. We're going to have to write some of these topics down. Strength versus submission. We want to know what is femininity and what is masculinity. Judith goes on to say define submission. We're going to do that again on another show. And then we have expressions that we think is being lumped together with submission. Again, we're going to come back and talk about that. Let me see if I didn't miss anything. Oop. I witnessed women in another culture that were strong, but they were also submitted. Judith says 101. Judith always has jokes on me. Yes, we're in relationship 101. We're going from the self to the relationship because apparently this is an area where a lot of us are hurting at, and we are susceptible to a lot of winds of doctrine. So we are going, I think, disciple, hey, what's going on? That's my Live Project partner there. He says, I think in this oh gosh, don't say Western society. That's a trigger for me now. Western society, all throughout this book, we're going to have to talk about Western society culture, because I think that's a blanket term used to kind of classify a behavior that we want to assume didn't exist before the West, which indeed it did. So I think in this Western society culture, women are made to believe that submission equals to weakness. We'll talk about that in the submission conversation. Great subject. Continue. I don't like the word submission in this case, Shelly On says. So we're going to talk about this word submission. Do black women have an aversion to this word? Is it like kryptonite to Superman? You know what I'm saying? Is it something that makes you want to break out in hives, and why? And lastly, B Girl says, femininity defined with pearls and or lace is not of our culture, if I may say. And again, we're going to bring the actual quote next time for you guys, so that you can know that's not something that I'm saying as we're interrogating this book, this information, to see whether or not, like we said in the beginning, is it valid? Is it hurtful? Is it underdeveloped? Or is it narrow? Is it subjective in the way in which it goes about expressing itself? So we're coming a little bit under 45 minutes. So, we extended a little bit. We might go a little bit longer next time, make it 45 minutes and then probably extend to an hour and really see how things go. So I want to thank everybody for tuning in. I want to thank Sister Mayana for coming on, Brother Amatia for letting his voice heard. Brother Amatia, would you like to say a big shalom to the people? And hopefully you'll join us again next time.
Definitely. Shalom, everybody. And I will most definitely join again. Like I said, when Mayana calls, I have no choice but to come.
When a man does it, don't worry, because when a man does it, it's called rescuing. When women do it, it's called serving. Don't worry about that.
We're gonna keep it light. We're gonna keep it clean. We're gonna keep it hopefully healing and a space where we can have this conversation. So yes, I agree, Sister Judith. Wonderful guest, wonderful conversation. I know it feels cut short, but it's almost 10:15 at night. So maybe next time we'll start a little bit earlier. That was my bad. We were supposed to start at 8 o'clock. I had another engagement. And so we started at a little after 9. So with that said, my name is Emunah Yisrael. This has been Solonomics 101 Special Edition. Tell your friends, tell your family. Special Relationship Edition. We going in. We going in.
We'll be on the air tomorrow. So if you miss it, tune in to Debate Talk for You and listen to us there. So we'll talk to you soon.
Yes. Actually, tomorrow we'll be speaking about domestic violence in the community. So tune in. All right. Everybody have a blessed night.
Shalom.
Shalom.